Hello, Orlando here, and this is another contemplation of the jinkies that are transiting us in this period. So it's time for the 63rd jinky and the 64th jinky. Ooh, these two are very important because they mark the end of a journey. So we'll have fun with these two. Yeah, even if you don't have them in your profile, this I think is a very important contemplation for everyone. Even if you don't know what the chinkies are, because it's about how we look for the truth, and it's about our doubt, it's about our confusion, it's about how we look for perfection in things and people, and how we separate ourselves in the process. So before I go into the contemplation, um, I have a new YouTube channel. It's called Open Heart Talks with Orlando. That's me. And if you like this kind of contemplations, I will do more, and I will put them in that channel. Right now, I don't know, 13, 15, 16 contemplations are there, the ones that I did before. And I'm going to post regularly on this channel. So if you like this kind of content, subscribe, and or you can subscribe, of course. Subscribe, and of course, I'll speak about other subjects that are not really directly linked to the jinkies, but matter to us all, because I've been working in the last years on mental and emotional deconditioning, and using the jinkies as my primary tool in that. But I have other tools. My journey started in 2010 with profiling studies, professional ones, and stuff like that. So I'm an explorer of the human mind, and of course emotions, and how they all linked and stuff like that. So I'm going to explore lots of things on that channel in the future, but mostly jinkies in this period because I love them. So let's go into the contemplation. First thing first. And I want to start with the ending, because I've written a contemplation. It's really long, so I'm not going to read it to you. I'm just going to get you a summary about that. So if we don't love, if we don't learn, because we have to learn in this society how to open up and to love, it's very hard to live well. It's almost impossible to live well, because if we don't know how to open up, how to love, we can't get to truth, you know, because every truth that can be expressed in words is not the truth. It's just an interpretation of the truth. It's like a very small part of that truth. No, truth is behind the veil. Yeah. So if we don't learn how to love, we'll get into a nihilistic point of view, and then we'll think that everything is for nothing. So life is like for nothing. Everything is useless and meaningless. Meaningless. This is the word I've been looking for. So when we open up and when we love, we find that this thing that everything is meaningless is just an extreme. Yeah, and we have another extreme that says everything has purpose. So when we learn how to center ourselves, because reality is created by extremes that are present, that are all present in one point. Yeah. So if we choose an extreme over another, we really get to suffering, and we're really running away from truth because we just cling to an interpretation of the truth. So this is the warning that with what I want to start this contemplation, that without opening up, without loving, this contemplation may seem like a nihilistic point of view, that everything is meaningless and you can't get to the truth, and and stuff like that. And this is just a part of it. This is just one extreme. Yeah, there are other extremes that has to be put into account. So when we are centered, we are just living into that point where all extremes are present in the same time and place, of course, and then we access the truth. But we really can't, I feel this, we really can't express it in this human form. Yeah, it's like a language that we humans can't speak right now. Maybe in the future we will, but we can't really translate the truth. So this is why we do our best to interpret the truth. Yeah, it's like looking at a queen and a king, how they act, and then put a play in place for the villagers to show them the king and the queen. But these are just interpretations of the king and the queen. These are not the king and the queen. Because how what came up in this contemplation is about identification. And I'm going to ask you some questions about you. So the first question is, who are you? The second question, who are you without your doubts or your doubt? The third question, who are you without your truths, without your interpreted truths? Maybe you already found out, if you're in the Gene Keys or in spiritual work, maybe you already found out that you are nothing and everything in the same time. One of the most experienced revelations, and I also had this I think in 2015, is when I've experienced that the emptiness is full, and I've experienced these extremes, both of them, and I was like, wow, what was that? And then I googled and found out that my experience was also experience of many other people, because in this reality we really have to figure out these extremes. We are living in a life of paradoxes. The paradox is living in that center, living in that point where all extremes are present there. Because reality is paradoxical, as I've told you, and you know this earlier. So the last question is, who are you without your suffering? Because if you identify with any aspect of your life and you cling to that identification, you will surely suffer. So even if you cling to CDs, even if you cling to gifts, even if you cling to shadows, every clinging will get you to suffering. This is why some people are clinging to the gifts, and they still suffer because they really want them, and I want to be in inquiry mode, but why do I suffer? It doesn't make any sense, and this clinging to the gift of inquiry makes them suffer and puts them in doubt. So we can't really force life. We really can't force ourselves. When we force ourselves to be in a certain way, we're just into choosing one extreme over the other. And so we become a victim of life, of victim of these paradoxes. Yeah. So it's not a really nice way to live. So paradoxes, they are everywhere. Yeah. So we really can't live our life without experiencing them. Yeah. So if we choose one extreme, we'll end up into the other extreme in no time. Yeah. So the people that cling to, I want to be good, I want to be good in this life, and they really cling to this identification, end up to be not so good through their actions. Yeah, and the other ones that want to be bad and cling to, they find themselves in situations that they are good and stuff like that, because all the extremes are linked to each other, and I see them like in the circle. They're in the circle. When you get to the but not really a circle, it's very hard to explain, explain truths in and how we feel them. It's madness. Yeah. So when I get to, and I felt this in my experience, when I get to the extreme, the other extreme is present right there. So it's like, getting like that. Yeah, paradoxes, and try to explain them. So what I'm trying to say in this is, we have to accept them, um, to live well. We really have to accept them. We really have to understand that to cling to the identification of the role won't help us in this life. To play the role, oh yes, this is love. Love is playing the role, knowing that you are not the role. Because if you um, if you don't know this, if you don't know that you're not the role and you are really in that role, this is just attachment. Attachment to ideas, attachment to the body, attachment to people, attachment to everything. And it's not that attachment is wrong, yeah, but we have to be conscious of what attachments we choose in this life. So we are really attached to air. I really like air. Yeah, it's good for me living. So I have to choose environments where air is present so I can live. Also, I have to choose environments that are beneficial for me as a person, because if I don't, I'm just into proving mode. So I want to prove myself, so I go into the worst situation ever, and and then I come back more wounded than before. So about the 63rd and 64th gene key. The 63rd is about the left hemisphere of the brain. It's about the logical, how we think logically, step by step, A to B to C to D. And the 64th gene key is how we think in abstract terms. It's like going from A to Z. It's like wormholes. So these two play a game in the shadows play a game of separation. So when one person chooses his or her left brain over the other one, separation comes, and separation in these two really creates separation in the outside. I have the 7th gene key with the shadow of separation in my evolution. So let's say I really know what I'm talking about. Also, I've been diagnosed with this separation, and I'm working on that. Working from like when I was 20 years old. It's like 16 years ago, when I had this incredible breakdown, and my left and right hemisphere didn't really connect one to another. And so I didn't. I had to learn how to breathe. This happened. because even breathing was hard for me. So yeah, separation. So all the separation comes from this, comes from when the right and the left hemispheres don't really go well one with another, aren't coordinated, and we put supremacy on one to the other. Yeah. So what I feel is when separation comes and we don't accept both of them, because sometimes left part will work more, sometimes right part will work more, but not, clinging to one part, clinging to logic or clinging to the abstract and really hoping for things to appear from the, because life is about the both of them, and not just one of them. So we can't live our life only on logical terms or on abstract terms. The artists that lose their minds in the abstract, and the really materialistic people that are really clinging to their possessions and stuff like that. This is the left part. So there is lots of doubt and confusion that comes from this separation, because when these two are separated, they are like fighting all over the time, and they are like saying like ping pong or tennis. Yeah, they're not collaborating. They're saying, hey, it's your fault because of this, but no, it's your fault because of this. It's like a fight in a family. Yeah, when one spouse tells to another that it's your fault, and another it's your fault. So they're not collaborating. They're not opening up. They're not vulnerable one to another, but really try to be dominant. Yeah. So when this dominance appears in our lives, doubt and confusion, the shadows of the 63rd and 64th, are ever present, because one will doubt the other, and from this is confusion. Yeah, so sometimes left will doubt the right, sometimes the right will doubt the left, and our life will be sinusoidal, like this, will be ups and then downs and ups, and really high ups and really high downs, when living close to the center is like this, not like this. So when we are living into this separation, into this doubt and confusion, chronic insatisfaction will come, and then we live into permanent judgment. Permanent judgment. We'll judge everything. We'll judge ourselves. We'll judge people that are outside of us, of course. We'll judge everything, because separation. Because we're separated, we can't really feel close, or whole, not close. We can't feel whole in ourselves, so we can't feel whole with other people. So we separate, of course, from other people, and this gets us into more doubt and more confusion, and then we'll isolate ourselves more and judge more, and it's not really a very good life. Yeah. So this separation comes when someone looks for the truth, thinks that person found the truth, and then uses that truth to separate, to I'm going to use the 13 Jinki to create discord. Yeah. Truth should, I feel, should unite us, not separate us, right? This is why when we express something as truth in the outside, this is the moment we separate ourselves from the others. Yeah. This is when we feel that our interpretation of the truth is better or dominant than another. Or, of course, the other part, when we feel our interpretation of the truth is worse than another, and then we'll be sad. Identification, as I said earlier. So it's very simple. Life is very simple when we look to life in these terms. Yeah. So how we get out of this trap? Very simple, by inquiry, by the gift of the 63rd Jinki. When we investigate, when we inquire what we love in our life without wanting an answer, putting the question out there, but not really wanting an answer that can be expressed in words. Because when we put the truth in words, we separate ourselves from the truth. This is another paradox. This is why I feel masters in the past didn't say anything. They took long periods of time when they didn't speak. I feel this is to feel more of the truth. Yeah, and to stop interpreting the truth. This doesn't mean that we have to do this like those masters. Not really. Because if we love life, if we love something in this life, if we love to inquire something into this life, we'll just enjoy the ride. And this is how creativity comes through, because the 64th Jinki is creativity at its peak. It's the gift of imagination. What we do with our imagination, what we do with what we've inquired. We've inquired about something, we got some results, we felt some truths, or we felt the truth, and then from this arose like interpretations of the truth, and then what do I want to express today in this play of life? So when we get to the realization that we're just into this play, and if we really love to play this play, it's like playing a game like tennis or football, or you're into that, you really love to do that. You're not the game, you're not really the player, you just enjoy the game. You just love the game so much, so you want to be there to feel that, to feel what your body experiences that in that moment, to experience the adrenaline, to experience the serotonin, to experience all the chemicals inside of you, to feel life. This is inquiry. This is why we are doomed to find what we love in this life. Because some people tell me, but I don't know what I love in this life. This is because they have been taught in their childhood not to inquire about what they love, but to inquire, into stuff that makes them more money, or makes them have a better image, social image, or status, and stuff like that. And this is why, of course, we suffer. And this gets them into doubt, and this is why they get very sad, or some depressed, and then they start this journey of finding out who they are, and they don't really need the answer who I am. What they need in this lifetime is the answer of what do I love, and through the things that they love, they experience truth. They find the answer who I am, because who we are, changes in every moment. Yeah. Yesterday I was different than I'm today. Tomorrow I will be different. Yeah. From our experiences of after a month will be different, of course. So we have so much to explore. We can find we can find tomorrow. I can find tomorrow something I love and I didn't know I love that thing. So when we live a life of love, when we live a life dedicated to playing this life, this role, this role of being love, whatever we do, it's perfect. Even if it is socially acceptable or not, of course, we have to assume our risks in that. But if this comes from love, if this comes from I really love life and I really love, there can't be anything wrong. We're just living. So I really love people that love. And when you see an interview with a person like that, you see that love in expressing in them. Now, even if we if it's about people that I've seen an interview with a really famous actor in Romania. He passed away a few years ago, and this person really loved life. He's like a party man, woman's man, and stuff like that. But in every interview, you see love in him. You see love in life, and we're not perfect. Yeah, we can't all live in perfection, and I really admire that person's life, and it's an inspiration for I think all of us that are really strict in I have to be like that, because if I'm not like that, I won't love myself. I won't love myself if I'm like that, and so we're going to become that. Yeah. So if we are love, we are safe, because love gets us to the truth and we experience life, and of course we'll die. Some will die earlier, some will die after a longer time. But I feel that when a person lives life well, doesn't really suffer too much when this comes, and death just comes naturally. Not naturally like after long periods of pain and stuff like that, and like when everything is degrading, and no, it just comes like poof, because that person lived. And it's like life saying you don't really deserve to have pain, because love is a pain transcended. So I'm not going to give you pain, man or woman. I'm going to give you death. I'm going to give you the end. But this comes naturally. When we try to force things, some people try to force death, and they get into this nihilist point of view, or they identify too much with their mind and stuff like that, and they get depressed, and some of them choose to end their lives too soon. Yeah, this is also forcing. This is not a life from love, and I don't know what happens after that. Of course, the truth takes care of all of us, but I don't think we can bypass our lessons by this action. I don't feel we can, because we'll get back, we'll be recycled to get through that lesson again. And until we learn to be love, and from this love to access truth and to be truth, there is suffering and there is doubt. I really wish that if you watch this video, if you feel what I'm feeling right now, and to feel the place where all of this comes from, because it's a deep yearning from me, that people, of course myself included, to be in love with themselves, to be in love with life, to be in love with creating, because when people love what they create, it's like a labor. It's their labor of love. It's like when two parents create a child from love, that child feels better in this world. We can create a better world if we learn how to love, not find truths that are written or can be expressed, even if they are expressed in paintings or I don't know, artistic ways. The right, it's just a part of that. We have to combine them both, and to put the logical with the abstract to work together, so we can enjoy everything. We can enjoy logical things as well as abstract things, not choose one over the other. Of course, maybe we'll have preferences. Maybe you'll prefer abstract than the logical, but that doesn't mean that logic won't be loved, and we won't love our logic. Yeah, even if we prefer the abstract. It's like a parent that has two children, prefers one over the other because of, I don't know, stuff, but that doesn't mean that person doesn't love, that parent doesn't love both of them. Yeah. So our natural state is nothing. I'm going to continue with this. Our natural state is nothing, and from this state of nothing, we really can discover everything. Yeah. So when we accept this nothingness, we discover paradoxically the everythingness. Yeah, because if we're looking for meaning in this life, meaning won't be out there. Won't come from our achievements, won't come from I don't know, validations from other people, won't come from other people really, but from experiencing this nothing state in ourselves. This state when we are one with all the extremes, and we feel the good and the bad and everything, and just letting them be. And from this point, we just love. Yeah, we love our life. We love the good. We love the bad, because we don't cling to anything. We just love. Yeah. So this is how we can play the role in this life, and not identifying with the role, but just enjoying the role. No, not trying too much. Some people are really trying to play a role, and they aren't living an easy life. They are living a very struggling life. They are like fighting with everything and everyone. And of course they live in separation. Yeah. So we are all connected to truth. Yeah, because in that state of nothing we are all equal. Yeah, and we are all connected to truth. Even people that are unconscious, they're connected to truth. But we see a difference. Yeah, the people that are conscious, and the people that are unconscious. The people that are consciously connected to truth, I call them aligned people. These people materialize really fast, or in due time, stuff that comes through them, through their mind, through their emotions, through their everything, because they are aligned to truth. So truth says, hey, this is your path. Of course I'm going to give you this. This is what you need. So life, provides. The people that aren't conscious of their alignment to the truth are just aligned to their illusions. And their illusions aren't really on track with their path, with their destiny, with their dharma. So for them, they really want stuff, like really want more money, really want I don't know, fast cars or stuff like that, or people that aren't really beneficial for them, and life doesn't provide them. And if life provides them, it's suffering time. there won't be a very fine experience. So this is the difference from these two kind of people: the conscious people that are aligned with truth and are consciously aligned with truth, and the people that are unconsciously aligned with truth and are really running away from themselves. Yeah. So life is simple. Follow your truth. That is the whole truth. The 63rd Jinki is a collective Jinki. It's not an individual one. Is about the 63rd Jinki is about the whole. It's the truth that is for the whole. It's not like our individual interpreted truth. No, this is just an illusion. This is an interpreted truth. It's like me doing this contemplation. These are my interpretations of the truth. They are not the truth. If I inspire someone to live a better life, super, excellent. Yeah, I'm in service, and I really love to be in service like that. Yeah, not helping, from a victim state, but just inspiring, just putting my interpretations. And who likes them and is inspired, perfect. Who isn't inspired, of course, perfect also. Yeah. So to wrap it up, everything that you identify with, be it a thought like I'm good or I'm bad or I'm the best or I'm the worst or stuff like that, is just a thought. It's just an interpretation of the truth. It is not the truth. So if you believe this, if you really believe this, you're screwed. I'm sorry to say this word. Yeah, I like to put this. You're screwed, because you believe this interpretation, and you're going to live your life based on this interpretation. If you feel that you're the best, you're going to live your life by this interpretation. If you cling to this, when you let's say you're an athlete and you're the best, but when you are at the end of the career and you aren't the best, you really suffer if you cling to this I'm the best. And of course the other person that clings to I'm the worst, and even if good stuff happens to that person, no, I'm the worst, I won't see that. They are just clinging to this identification. So I'm wishing you to see these identifications, and I'm wishing to you to not do anything to unidentify with them, because if you force this, you're also screwed. Unidentification comes from integration. It's not like who I am, it's like what have I integrated until now. This is the right question. What did I integrate until now? Yeah. So from this, so when you integrate something, you won't need that. You can enjoy that. So if you integrate, I don't know, let's say commitment in relationships, you won't really need to be committed in relationships, but you really enjoy to be committed in relationships because you know how good it feels and how you like to be in service in that way. Because if you perceive that I know I'm identifying myself with the role of being committed in a relationship, so I'm choosing to unidentify with this because it's so you're like just running away from that identification. That identification is still there because it is still influencing you to do stuff. This is another paradox. So what you can do, what we all can do, is just observe ourselves. And if we observe ourselves, life will put us in situations where we can have experiences that gets us to integration. And it's about the journey. It's not about being at the end right now, and and having that fulfilling relationship if you want one, or having that community if you want. It's about the journey. to come to that. And of course, also myself, I'm yearning for some things in my life because I feel them are on my path, but I can't force them. I can't really cling to that identification. And I say, okay, let's see what life provides. I'm putting my intention out there. Let's see if I'm aligned or not with truth. Because life will really show you if you are aligned, when your intentions are materialized. Yeah. But some intentions may need time to be materialized because maybe the world isn't ready for your intentions. So just love. Find something you love and love. We can find people to love, communities to love, to serve, games, something. Yeah. And I wish you all the best. Uh, and of course, if you like this kind of videos, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Open Talks with Orlando channel, so I can identify with, to play this role. Because I really feel I need more open heart talks with myself and with the world. So I'm opening this door because I really like open-hearted sensations. Yeah, it's real connection. This is my interpretation of the truth. Bye bye.